There are many things that can stop you, and there are many things that can help you. And cash, 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 cash. Cash is king. Venture capitalists are not philanthropists. They're never going to give you more money. They're never going to give you enough money. You're always short of cash. And you have to be absolutely brutal in the way you manage cash, because if you don't look at your cash absolutely rigorously every day, you may end up having something very good going for you and then going bankrupt. A car with no gas doesn't go. Well, cash for us is cash, is cash, is cash, and we have to always work it. That's why the funding issue is always critical. The second, you can never do things by yourself. So you have to spend a fair amount of time building a team, and building a team writ large. It starts with the family. You have to make sure that you have supporting families, because my dear wife here, many a time didn't see me for quite a while because I was working too long, too hard, and that's part of the demand on the job. You have to have in your team not only the immediate worker that you have selected, but also all the ecosystem that you have with it. The banker, the accountant, the lawyers, people that are dealing with you, the sales partner, where everybody brings some contribution to what you do, and part of your job in building a proper team is to make sure that you are ready to take that contribution and use it accordingly. You have to build a team because essentially you don't know what you're doing. Yes, you have the vision and you have all that good stuff, but on a day-to-day basis, you don't know what you're doing. Now, you don't tell the world that. When you go present to the VC, you tell, I've seen it, and in 10 years we'll be billionaire. But in the day-to-day work, you don't know. So you have to develop a team that enable you to, one, understand the market dynamic and the reality of the change and the reality of the experiment that you make. And also you have to be pragmatic opportunist, because you need to be able to change some of the idea that you started with based on the feedback and based on the reality that's being presented to you. And that's not easy. It used to be, when I started very long time ago, it was the field of dream type mode. You build it and they'll come. It doesn't work anymore that way. Today, it's a pool. Today, the customer really decide what they like, don't like, and shape it and create it with you. So you have to be very pragmatic and very opportunist in working with them. And that mode of working forces you to become quite good at the language of business, and in particularly the grammar of business. It's very easy to talk about business, but business is a whole, and there's some rules that you have to follow, and those rules keep on changing. One of the things that I saw in your program, which I think is very good, is that you're going to have a session on how to use social networks. Well, if you want to do any marketing and you don't understand social network, you don't understand the grammar of business. So you have to continuously learn the rules and learn the constraint and learn the flow, because that's going to make you successful or obsolete. Some of those behaviors that lead to success are also behavior that can lead to failure. And that's the classical yin and yang type stuff. I'm not married to a Chinese for nothing. Where you can be too optimist. You have a strong belief in yourself, you have a strong belief in your team, and you're taking challenges that you're not going to be able to meet. And since, as I told you, there's some time when you're a snake oil salesman and sell something you don't have, you have to have that sense of balance of being optimist, credible, but not too optimist and fail. So you've got to work that process, and that's part of the education of an entrepreneur. You never have enough cash, and cash can kill you. So, a lot of people run by greed, wait for the last moment to ask for cash. Because what happens, the later you wait, the more proof you have, and therefore the negotiation is going to be easier. However, that's taking a big risk, because you don't know tomorrow what the election will do, you don't know after tomorrow what the market will do, and the cash that was available yesterday may not be available tomorrow. So you have to work that process pretty hard. A very common failure is loss of focus. People are so confident in themselves, they have their big vision, they have their big view, but they listen too much to too many customers and end up doing too many side trips. And when you lose that focus, you end up having too many things that you have to do, not enough time, not enough resources, you're going to lose it. One more subtle and probably as important as all the rest is the mental agility of understanding and acting when things change. Very often when you're so convinced of your truth that you believe your truth is universal and you're not going to be able to absorb the pressure of the market and the lesson of the market. So a lot of companies die because of that, and a lot of very successful beginning turn to become failure because of that lack of agility in changing their mindset and adapting what they do to the world. Timing is also good and bad. If timing is not for you, you may have the best technology and the best stuff and things will not flow. So timing has to be in the right mood. But there's an element of timing that as an entrepreneur you need to work on pretty hard. And that's the timing of things that are going to be actionable by you. And in particular, the moment today when you start with a new idea and you start a new venture, you have competition. It's going to be in the US, it's going to be in China, it's going to be in India, it's going to be in Brazil, but you're going to have the competition. So you have to live in a very fast-paced, global view of the world and keep pushing, keep pushing. That's what the team and that's what the management becomes critical. You always have to deal with anything that comes at you with bifocal lenses. Now, one, because you're getting older, so you need to have these bifocal lenses. But in reality, it's because every day you need to make decisions, and you need to survive, and you need to push the ball a little bit to make progress toward your goal. But you should never lose track of the medium-term, long-term, which is the big opportunity you started with. So you deal with that bifocal type decision process all the time, and it's something that's very demanding if you're of the nature of procrastinating or being too analytical and so on, because you have to jump and do things. Speed is critical. Repeat, speed is critical. If you don't build momentum, you lose. So every action you take has to be oriented toward creating progress, moving forward, doing something. Momentum, momentum, momentum. And you have to act. And you have to act every day, and you have to act as fast as you can, which means you make decisions with a lot of analysis, and trust your gut and move when you don't have knowledge. Now, in this business of for-profit, you make a Faustian bargain with the investor. The measure is going to be very simple. Are you making money? Are you not making money? Okay? And that's probably what Dorothy called the dark side of my business, because it's brutal. On the other side, it's quite simple, it's clear, it's actionable, and the moment you have entered into the Faustian bargain, you are it. So, to me, there's nothing dark about it. On the contrary, I enjoy it, but I'm a crazy guy, so you have to live with it. Now, one of the things that you got to put in perspective, if you recall, I said we start with 1,000 ideas, 10 only will get funded. Out of the 10 that are going to get funded, 4 are going to fail. 4 are going to break even or make a small gain, but nothing important. And only 2 will have a liquidity event that makes any sense. Now, the 10 teams are as good as each other. The 10 teams have all the same analysis review. Everybody has looked on their birth and development and so on in the same way. So the reality is it's luck. And if you don't have a big chunk of luck, tough luck. Okay? The beauty of it, however, and the good news about it, is because luck is accepted as part of the process, failure is accepted as part of the process. Which means as long as you demonstrate that you have what's called in our jargon an honorable failure, it's being viewed by most people as a good learning experience.
I loved Winston Churchill's definition of success, which was the ability to move from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm.
That's a very good quote. So the problem of failure is something we live with, we accept, And I think it's a great strength of the US ecosystem of venture and entrepreneurship, is that notion that as long as you put all your energy, your brain and smile into something, and it doesn't work, there's no stigma to it, which is very different in many other countries in the world. Which leads me to a question for you. You know, I have no intention here to bring you to the dark side. However, if you believe, like we do, that with the world of today, more entrepreneurial behavior are necessary, you should spend time considering the way the entrepreneurship in the bleeding edge world works. And you should select people with passion. You should select people with energy. Make sure that they have a strong team. Make sure that you give them just enough resource so they can test in a systematic way the thing they're going to do. Don't go at it, full blast, work at it. But also recognize, and especially for those of you that are trustee and director, that failure is part of the game. And you have to support failure in the same way that you support success. So, those are everything I know about entrepreneurship. As you probably realize, I find it a fun game. I enjoy it. It's very motivating, very often intoxicating, especially when you win. And when you lose, well, you try one. Thank you very much.